themselves. And we did not show up as a political party. We showed up as a collection of the people of Uganda. And we are the People Power Movement before we are NUP. And it's important not to reduce the aspirations of the people of Uganda to particular political parties or to individual politicians. Because when you attach the aspirations of Uganda and reduce them to particular politicians, when those politicians sell out, they will want to make it seem like the people of Uganda have sold out. No, they've not. Yes, there have been efforts on unity, way before I threw in my heart into the political arena. Many of them have failed, and many have registered some success. The question is not giving up. When we rose to the occasion to awaken the people, we wanted to awaken people, not political parties. We know that many politicians sell out, and many more will sell out. But when Museveni buys one politician, does not mean that he has solved the reasons that caused people to rise up. Yes, it has been his strategy to deny people leadership, to compromise those that people have trust in, from religious leaders to cultural leaders, political leaders, and other special interest groupings. But that does not offer any solution because the poverty continues to skyrocket.
So, Mr. Chabwan, yours is a heart of stone, I should say, that cannot be broken, that cannot be sold out. Because, I mean, we've seen, I would say, the revered opposition politicians that many admired in the times, the likes of Norbert Mao and all that, who I should say have sold out. So what makes you different? What makes you think you can sell out? I'm looking at the tensions that are within your own movement, the NUP.
I don't want to look at myself as a special case. I will look at the idea that we represent as a special case. People don't support me because of me as the individual. They support me and my team because of the idea that we represent, the idea that never dies, you know. And I said it many times, I'll say it again today, that even me, myself, if I started changing my words and left the idea that made people support me massively, they would very happily support anybody else that represents those ideas. So it is not the individuals. That's why people are very quick to dump any politician that, you know, that sells out to the dictatorship, and they move on. And the people of Uganda, one thing that we've been able to successfully achieve is massive awakening. Our people are not asleep anymore. They cannot be fooled anymore. They know that it is upon them to take the charge themselves, not any politicians. You gave a good example of Norbert Mao. Norbert Mao used to be very inspirational to us when we were children, when he was Guild President of Makerere, when he used to be such an inspiration to many of us.
Sometimes you have to work with the government if you're to have your inspirations come to reality.
That's him. But Norbert Mao keeps changing his words. He's the same person that said that when you are paid to be stupid, then your intelligence ceases to matter. It's the same Norbert Mao who said that General Museveni, he will only work with you if he can use you as a wheelbarrow. Those were the words of Norbert Mao, the same Norbert Mao now that is bootlicking General Museveni. But like I said, Museveni appeals to two things. He appeals to either your sense of fear or your sense of greed, you know. So some of those people that we used to respect so much maybe reached their breaking point in terms of greed and fear, and that's what they turned into. It's unfortunate, of course, with all due respect. I know that those people have their weaknesses, but we are preaching to the people of Uganda to evoke their own strength. We are telling them not to believe in us, not to believe in any politician, but to believe in their ability to change their country themselves.
Mr. Chabwan, we shall take another quick
I'm sure some of you were very or not born yet when such ads were.
These people and news. My name is Rita Kemkisa, and today we're having a conversation what lies beneath the Wake Up Uganda tour by the NUP leader Robert Chagulanyi. And with me today on the VPN, I have the man himself, Robert Chagulanyi, whom we know mainly, not mainly as Bobi Wine. Mr. Chagulanyi, before we went into the talk, yeah, yes, actually commenced on this tour. You met with veteran Kizabescu. We're interested in finding out, will we see him perhaps in one of the tours that you are having? And from the engagement you had with him, if you could share with us just a little bit. What kind of discussion did you have? Because I mean, we see you post him today, and the following day you started on these tours.
Oh yeah, of course, Dr. Kizabesige remains one of our political mentors, one of the elders that we always reach out to for wise counsel. And you know, that meeting we had with him is one of the many that we've been having, you know, seeking his guidance as well. We always share. We give him thoughts, and he indeed gives us thoughts, because he's somebody that you cannot, you know, wish away in the political space of Uganda. We continue to work together, and his input has been and continues to be extremely valuable. Whether or not we shall be on the same tour, this tour, I mean, the whole struggle should not be limited to this tour. Each of us will keep pushing from their fronts, and whenever we can work together, we shall embrace the opportunity and work together. I will not tell you what we plan to do together with Dr. Kizabesige, but please know that there's so much that we plan to do together. because we still believe in this unity.
Mr. Shabga, many people, many scholars have zeroed to the fact that the opposition in Uganda has failed because we are limiting the struggle to individuals, that whole individualism syndrome, and we tend to neglect the ideas that have actually taken us to a new chapter, to a new age.
Well, they're partially right, but of course those intellectuals sometimes, me, I don't like them because they talk and talk and talk, and many of them just talk to discourage, and then they go back to their comfort zones. Meanwhile, the nation is rotting. And the same talkers, in most cases, they talk just to discourage. They have not done nothing. They don't do anything. They are the intellectuals that we thought would save us, but they have not. I mean, look at me. I came from my dancehall, and because the so-called lawyers, the elites, the intellectuals, were just there. If they are not seated and comfortably, enjoying their lives, they are discouraging. If they're not working for the regime, then they are discouraging the small efforts that common people like myself are trying to do to save this country. So those so-called analysts and intellectuals, for me, tebandia. However, I'll say that many of them tend to speak the truth, although they speak it not in good faith. Yes, it's true that many times we failed to come together. But they should help us come together, not just criticize, castigate, demoralize, and leave it at that. This country belongs to all of us. They are equally responsible, They are equally responsible in offering solutions. So, for me, I believe that much as they talk about the failures of the opposition, I think they shouldn't reduce this effort to only the opposition. For example, the young men, the young border men, who don't even have an NUP or FDC or DP party membership card. Where are they? What are they? Are they opposition or what? I want to look at them as change-seeking forces. So, for us, we don't look at ourselves as opposition. In any case, we are not opposition. We are the option. We want.
Which change should these, the border people and the other Ugandans you're talking of as agents of change, as the people you are working with? And yet, the opposition, I should say, you who are seeking the change, who are leading on the steering wheel, you need reawakening in yourself. Like I keep saying, look at what has been happening in the FDC. It has been on for months now. Even in your party, NUP, we have seen these tensions that they've said. And it is said indeed that when these people come to these tours that you're moving around with the mammoth crowd, they say indeed they only come to listen to the dancehall star, and your message remains at that rally.
Well, I'm a dancehall star, and that is a plus to me. You cannot take it away from me. Many other politicians, including Museveni, wish they were stars like myself. Museveni has tried it. He has recorded a few songs with his ugly voice. So they wish they had that charisma. They don't have it. So they're trying to undermine it. I have it. I'm thankful to God. Are you trying to tell me that when they go to listen to Museveni, they are going to listen to Emolaro? Yes, they are going to listen to Emolaro. Like they come to listen to this artist who tells them sense. If it was not resourceful, they wouldn't ban my music concerts. So yes, I am that star that people come to listen to, and I use this star voice not just to entertain them, but to edutain them, and I will continue that.
Are you edutaining the opposition? Let's stick to the wrangles.
My message is not only for the opposition. You see, Rita, you're trying as much as possible to box me into the opposition corner, and I will not take that. You know why? Because my message is for all people. Don't reduce us to opposition, because what if Museveni buys the opposition? He bought DP, he bought UPC. You see what is happening to FDC. I've been telling people, do not put your trust in those so-called politicians. Not even myself. Put your trust in yourselves, you the people of Uganda, you are the answers. You are the architects of your own freedom and your own liberation. You know, Museveni will buy these people, you know. You remember it during elections. He had already bought Museveni, in fact, in 2016, you remember he said, by 2021, there will be no opposition. Probably he had cut a deal with all the parties that were there. He didn't know that nature and God would bring up a generation that is uncompromising, the generation that I lead. So don't box us to opposition. Don't put us in the corner of these sellouts, in these professional politicians, the electropreneurs.
But you know, Mr. Chaplain, you have to unbox these boxes.
Yes.
Because I know yourself, you've had these voices. You've seen with the wrangles that have been going on in the FDC. You've had rumors, I should say, where the FDC members are accusing.
But those are not new.
Accusing Elias Lukwago of taking their members to NUP. Yourself, you have had that.
Yeah, I will tell you that that's not new. Even when the first thing, reason why I did not join any party ab initio is because when I was coming into the political space, there was FDC and there was DP. And DP's worst enemy was FDC and the other way around. I was wondering. I thought that FDC's enemy is supposed to be Museveni and not DP and the other way around, but that was not the case.
Your own
exactly. So when I came in, you know, I was independent and we started the People Power Movement, which brings everybody together. For us, our mission is not just to make Bobi Wine president, but to remove a dictatorship and give Ugandans a chance to come together and forge a way forward. We tried as much as possible. We had more than 30 meetings in the run-up to the 2021 election, trying to bring these people together. It only became apparent to me that the unity was not going to be possible because many of the leaders of these parties were paid to cause disharmony and disunity. And this played out later when Mao, you know, came blunt. Now it's playing out in the FDC. But I'll tell you that those few characters should not define us. The FDC is much bigger than their Secretary General, their president.
But you know, when all these things, this organization that is going on, in a way it also disorganizes the joint forces of change.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does, but it does not crush them. The killing dampens the mood of the people, but does not kill it. That's why we don't stop awakening them. While there are efforts to divide us, we are not giving up on the effort of unity. That's why we see me with Dr. KB, with General Muntu, with Ambassador Larotunu. We are not giving up. While they compromise others, we are not going to stop working with those that are solid, you know. And of course, there are even some artificial or narratives that are created just to cause disharmony. Recently, they've been trying as much as possible to pit me against my fellow leaders in my party. That's what they do in all other parties. General Museveni uses the same template. So it's our duty as leaders to see through his lies and then expose them and then show people how Museveni has been pushing them to the gullible corner. Yeah.
And we continue with these tours that you're holding. We have seen the army issue another warning to people who wear the camouflage uniform, to the beret that you're using right now. From your own side, don't you think this is also one of the ways that perhaps they are using to stifle down your tours? Because if it happens, it happens.
You know, they have one such. Now they are coming. Of course, everyone looks at it that way. And now they're coming. Like we've seen them in Kasese wherever very quickly. Abaja kuba ina twabawoninga dda tubaze tubawoninze kabijja ayinza okujja nagana okujjako bujja oba you can see another scuffle out of that.
Ajokuba enduulu oyo jjajja Bosco anti mukuba enduulu bampambye simanyi wendi ate ye ajja kuba tamanyi na waali.
These people and news. My name is Rita. Today we're having a conversation as we look beneath the Wake Up Uganda tour by NUP leader Robert Chagulanyi, known to many as Bobi Wine, and he's the man I'm hosting today on the video. Before we went into the program, Mr. Chagulanyi, like I've mentioned, the army has issued a statement among warning people who are using camouflage anti-refuse like that of the UPDF and red berets therein. And we've seen like before where the military has raided your offices in Cambridge. They have confiscated your t-shirts, the red berets that you use in these tours. And this, of course, in a way will send a message to a number of people who will be rallying up in these crowds to create, first of all, the fear among the people, knowing that, and we have also seen the end result in most cases. People will be arrested, people can even be shot and killed. Many of them, because of these tours and because of such threats that have been issued before, are still languishing in prison. Is this the freedom that you preach about? Is this the quest for freedom
That is supposed to be a question to the regime.
No, because I mean you're preaching.
Yeah, let me put it in context. Let me put it in context. Yeah, who is causing the suffering? Who is beating and killing the people? Look, you have seen Andrew Mwenda clad in full military uniform. You see artists every day dressed in military attires. You see many people dressed in military attires. And that's not to say that we dress in any military attire. I am wearing this beret. I keep wearing it. I don't get arrested, but they arrest everybody around me. Does that mean I'm above the law? If there's any law, you see, that's the selective application of the so-called laws. That is the corruption. You know, that's the impunity that we have in this our country. So I'll tell you that first and foremost, for us to be able to traverse the country unhindered by the military or police, it's not because Museveni loves that so much. It's two reasons. One, he is blatantly ashamed. Yes, he's shameless, but it's a clear sense of shame that is hovering over the regime. But most importantly, after Museveni's massacre in November 2020, and after the constant hounding of the opposition, abductions and killing of the people, we took Museveni, his son, and those around him to the International Criminal Court with more than 200 pieces of evidence tendered in. And we are still putting more evidence together. So Museveni knows that the international community is watching him, and this is the community that has been funding him to continue his misrule over the people of Uganda, to continue his regime of blood and national shame. So he is aware that he's a candidate for the ICC. He knows what happens. So he probably is trying to behave himself in order to tone down on the pieces of evidence that are coming, to add on the petition that we put up against him. Probably that is why we've been able to move peacefully so far. Like I said, we are always peaceful, and it only gets messy when the police messes it up. Coming back to the so-called military stores that they claim we have, they've raided our offices many times, stolen our berets, while every other person is putting on berets, including them. The NRM tried to copy our beret and they made them in yellow. Apparently for them, it's okay to put on berets, but not us. All this they are doing because they are trying to look for any reason to arrest, torture, and incarcerate our supporters. I tell them that we are not going to give up. The law is on our side. All the people they arrested for wearing berets, none of them has been convicted. All of them have been tortured, incarcerated for lengthy time, some years, but they've been released. So it's another excuse. It comes out of fear.
The Electoral Commission has issued its roadmap for the 2026 general election. I would want to find out from you. I'm sure you've read it. Does it answer the questions that were left during the 2021 general elections?
It doesn't answer any question. We are not so bothered by the Electoral Commission's roadmap, because you know what? One of the reasons why they issued that roadmap was probably for them to ensure that the people of Uganda go past the 2021 rigged election. We have not gone past that election. We won that election, and we continue to, to call out the regime for having rigged that election. But this national tour also is to show the people of Uganda what they missed when that election was rigged. We had a program, which program we continue to highlight, a program of a return to democracy, return to civilian rule, a program of a revamption of the economy, an absolute fight and crushing of corruption, which corruption General Museveni has been the chief priest of, and many other things that I cannot in very quick minutes, detail. But we are moving around the country, showing them what they missed when the election was rigged, and reminding them that it is going to continue like that if they don't firmly put their feet down. We are not campaigning for the election, because if we had another election under these circumstances, it wouldn't be any difference. We are telling the people of Uganda that nobody else is going to give them a free and fair election but themselves. They must be firm, put their feet down. We are working locally and internationally, knowing that when the international community finally distances itself from Museveni, like it's clearly beginning to, then we will be dealing with a much more weakened Museveni, and our effort to make him fall will be easier.
Mr. Chabwanya, are you coming back in 2026?
The question should be, are you here now? And I would say yes.
Are you going to contest for the 2026 general election?
We've not looked at 2026 yet. We are looking at now, because we want Museveni to fall now. We want to change the circumstances now. We want the factors to change fundamentally now. So talking about 2026 is telling our people to relax and wait for 2026, and that would be immoral, that would be wrong. We want to deal with now, so that we have, some success even before 2026. If it reaches, it must reach with a very, very weakened Museveni or a destroyed Museveni.
But many think with this road tours that you're taking down, it's one of the strategies. You're trying to position yourself.
Everybody has a right. Everybody has a right to think the way they think. But you ask me because you want to hear what I'm saying. I'm not positioning myself. I am positioned already. Rita, you're interviewing the guy who defeated Museveni. I was elected by the people of Uganda. So if it was going for another election, I know I would beat Museveni or anybody very easily, because we've beaten them before. So I'm not campaigning to be voted. I was voted. I am pushing this campaign of reawakening and self-assertion, so that the people of Uganda can be able to defend their will. You know, not just to take them into an election when they are a weakened population. We have to have a vibrant and fired up population.
Mr. Chablani, how will these Ugandans reawaken their will? Many of them are struggling financially.
Yeah.
We just have a week or two for children to go back to school. Many of them have no school fees. Many of them can't even afford food. They can only eat once a day. And with the World Bank decision to not lend more money to Uganda, it has left many of the people panicking. What solutions do you have for the Ugandans who are struggling financially, economically, and a country like Uganda where we have no money? The country is broke. Ugandans are broke. Maybe for you,
it is that brokenness. It is that brokenness that emboldened the people of Tunisia to kick away the dictator. It's that brokenness that emboldened and annoyed the people of Sudan and many other places to kick away their dictators. I want the people of Uganda to be angry and to have resolve. That is when they are going to do what they must do. We want the people of Uganda to charge up, to be angry, to get annoyed, to get uncomfortable about the situation, you know. So that is a factor as well. If people were broke and impoverished and they are not getting the leadership to charge and change their circumstances, that would be the unfortunate bit. But they have the leadership that leads them to removing the main cause of their predicament, and that is the Museveni dictatorship. What is the solution? First of all, we must remove a regime that is not considering the well-being of the people, but looking solely on regime maintenance. You know how much? Do you know how much money Museveni uses every day? 2 billion shillings.
But also, you know, there have been empowerment programs for the people of Uganda.
Those are hoaxes. Those are lies. Those are, you know what Chiwani means? Those are Biwanis. Those are hoaxes. Stated from Mentandikwa, Bonaba Gagaware, now you have PDM and all that. All those are hoaxes. They are lies. You know, people don't need handouts. People need policies that would make them self-sustaining. You know, we are rich. We have a rich human resource which is not empowered at all. People are overtaxed. You know, that's why they keep running out of the country. See how many Ugandans leave the country every day to look for better, you know, pastures. Agriculture has fallen completely. The economy has been, you know, hijacked by a few elites, you know, who are connected to General Museveni and his family. So that and more is supposed to annoy the people and remove this dictatorship so we can be able to realign. You get my point? Our challenge has been poverty as juxtaposed to extravagance. See how extravagant those that rule over us are. Compare Anita Mongo's house and the Bukedea Health Center. You know, compare how many cars Museveni has as an individual running his office and how many ambulances we have in the country. Compare the money that is spent on security and weapons of destruction as juxtaposed to the budget in the healthcare sector. Compare the salaries of our teachers and their working conditions. So all that has to change. It only changes when we change the head, because the priorities are not right. We have to realign our priorities.
When you talk about priorities, what would a country like Uganda be prioritizing at the moment if we're to keep afloat economically? And with this World Bank decision threat, government is saying they're going to cut on expenditure. What are some of those areas you think we should be focusing on?
Corruption. crack down on corruption. According to URA records, we lose 10 trillion every year that we lose to corruption. Sorry?
We lose about 20 trillion.
You see, now I'm even underestimating it. 20 trillion lost to corruption. We know who the corrupt people are. We know who the thieves are. They went beyond stealing money. They even steal iron sheets. These are the people around Museveni. Crack down on corruption and channel that money to help the people. That is number one. Number two, realign on our expenditure. Why must we spend all that money on administration? See how many ministers we have. How many ministers did Obote or Amin have? See the presidential advisors, the RDCs. Now those that are in power, look at how their convoys move and how much money they spend. So just those two things alone can fundamentally alter our circumstances as the people of Uganda. Then invest in healthcare. Make sure our people don't die stupidly like they are dying. And others, like I said, I would take the whole program just talking about our solutions.
This whole issue of the World Bank decision remains a serious threat to this country and to the people that you lead, the people you want to rely upon. Because many of the programs were supported by World Bank, donations and all that. Meaning Omuntu Wawansi will suffer as a result of World Bank, not giving us aid anymore.
I disagree with you, Rita. Omuntu Wawansi has been suffering because most of that money that is given to us is lost in corruption and patronage. Remember what happened to the COVID money? They stole it. Museveni and these people. Remember what happened to the Gavi funds? Stole it. Museveni and these people. You know what happens to the money that comes in to support refugees? Stolen. Okay? The only difference is that they've been stealing the funds that we borrow, which funds you and your child, me and my child and our grandchildren are going to pay. They've been stealing it. Now they're stealing taxpayers' money. In any case, they've been stealing 20 trillion of taxpayers' money annually. So the Muntu Wawansi has been suffering and will continue to suffer because these are thieves. Okay? And I'm being blunt because that is what they are. These are thieves. The international funds were not helping us anyway because they were being lost in corruption. And those that were not lost in corruption were being used to subjugate us. Myself and my team were moving nation to nation, organization to organization, asking them to stop funding Museveni's regime. We're happy that they're stopping. We also want them to put sanctions on them. We want to weaken the Museveni regime, I repeat it. And we can weaken him. One way of weakening him is to make sure that they don't sponsor his killing. The guns that kill us are given by Americans. The money that he uses to buy people, to compromise those that are speaking the truth against him is given from abroad. Museveni is an agent of neocolonialism, is an agent of foreigners. So we are asking them to stop sponsoring killing, to stop sponsoring that regime of national shame. They are stopping and we appreciate. We want them to even put sanctions.
All right. Yeah. We're going to take another quick short commercial break, but when we do get back, I'll encourage all of you if you're listening in to throw in your comments via 933 KFM and even on my Twitter page, that is Rita Kelgesa. And later on we shall give you a chance as well. I guess we'll shall have him calls as well to ask Robert Chabwani if you have any question, or also you can share your views and opinions. We'll take another quick short commercial break.
Newtins naye tujja kuba tuddako I think later tusooke tuveeko mu Bulango. Mwagala wuliriza pulezidenti byayogera baanammwe. Mukwatire musooka tuveeko mu bulango tujja di unmutinga naye kati genda mutinga muko kayala. Yes. Niba ne musharinge video muganja bijjako.
Welcome back. It is still the VPN Views People and News. My name is Rita Kemgita, and today we are having Robert Chapman. He's the NUP leader, known to many as Bobi Wine, as we delve into what is lying beneath the Wake Up Uganda tour. Mr. Chapman, the other day I saw a statement from the NUP party indicating that you had allegedly received credible information that there was a plot to take you down when you were in Kabale. If I could peep into your intelligence system, who could be against your life and why would they want to kill you?
Thank you. It's true, my team and I received information from very credible sources that there was an attempt on my life while on that tour. Actually, that prompted our quick response of driving back from our country as soon as we are done. In fact, we cut some activities short as well because we had even been antagonized in the first place. We don't take these threats lightly at all. We don't take them lightly because we've had similar threats and they've come to pass. We were warned in Arua. I was told that there was an attempt on my life, and as it all turned out, I survived narrowly, but my driver did not survive. The late Yasin Kauma, may God grant his soul perfect peace. Now, we know that the regime has made attempts on my life numerous times. I've survived gunshots, There are times when they even aimed at me and the bullet went through the windscreen of my car. So they've had attempts on my life numerous times. Therefore, I cannot treat any threats lightly. Yeah.
And I would want to find out from you, Mr. Chapman, ordinarily, when such threats are issued or when you receive such information, you would have to inform the security officers. Did you do that?
The security officers, the same security officers that are responsible of having tried to eliminate me. Are you not aware that it is the SFC that shot and killed Yasin Kauma? Are you not aware that it's the military that ran over Frank Sentes and killed him? Are you not aware that it is the Uganda police that killed Rita Nabukenya? Are you not aware of that?
That it is standard procedure. It when such a threat is issued, the first respondent should be security?
In a legal and moral situation. But as of now, when we know that the chief murderer, who is General Museveni himself, is presiding over a system, then that system is rotten. And we opt for other means. We would have gone to Ugandan court. Why do you think we've taken Museveni to the International Criminal Court? Because all the courts here in Uganda are muzzled. So you cannot seek refuge from the same animal that's trying to eat you. However, we expose them because I know that I cannot, fight against Museveni violently because he has all the guns and all that. But by exposing him internationally, in a way, it keeps me alive tentatively. But even when they finally succeed in eliminating me, I want the whole world to know who is after my life. That is Museveni and his son.
The same people you oppose, the same system that you are trashing, is the same system that you went to running to court in 2021 when you felt you had been denied your victory.
If you marked my words, I said, and I maintain it today, that we were going to that court to get either of the two things. One, justice, or to strip it naked. And indeed, the justice system was exposed. You saw just yesterday or the day before yesterday, Justice Chisache resigned from the Supreme Court because it was whatever they were doing was illegal and criminal. Whatever the Chief Justice Winyidoro was doing was illegal and criminal, and he was challenged, and he behaved in a very, very, very disgusting way, a way that undermines the judiciary. So our judiciary has been put to shame, courtesy of the Chief Justice and all those, all in the name of defending the sitting regime.
Chairman, I'll read a comment and verbatim.
Yeah.
When the NUP party put up a statement claiming that they received European diplomatic sources of that planned attempt on your life, you mentioned Robert Mao, and I'll read verbatim. Colonialism came through one region. It is coming back through the same region. He says in bold European backers, nonsense just.
Well, I don't blame Norbert Mao. I only blame those that take him serious. You know, when Norbert Mao is dealing with the international community, it's not colonialism. Okay? When Museveni went to Sweden to be assisted in the fight against Milton Obote, it was not colonialism. But when the international community, warns the regime about an impending terrorist attack, that is not colonialism. But when they warn me about an attack on my life, that is colonialism. I don't blame Mao. I blame those that take him serious. But like I said, it was his own quote that if you are paid to be a fool, your intelligence ceases to matter.
Mr. Robert Chavani, I guess we have a call online. Hello. Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello, good morning. This is 933 KFM. Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? Yes, Julius. Mayambala there is just appreciating. We have another call online. Yes, good morning. Yeah, what's your name once again and what's your view or opinion? Yeah. Yes, your name once again? showing from Nyamawina. Okay. All right. Do we have another caller online? Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from? What's your view or opinion? Yes, Santa. Oh, wow. Thank you. Think those are it now. We have more too. All right. Good morning. Your name, your quick view. Yes, Chris. Good. Please go right ahead with your question, view, or opinion.
Choose any. They're both here.